such that over here, this is my laptop here. I'm showing you my laptop with a YouTube channel. So what we have done is that our webcasting is able to allow you to connect to the YouTube Live or Facebook Live, such that the audience are looking at it as we present. This was the previous content I'm showing now. So if I were to refresh the screen, okay. So I'm opening up my YouTube Live channel, and this is the current content we are looking at it now. Okay? So if you don't believe me, all right, I can just draw something over here, and after a few seconds, it will get updated on this screen. So we are presenting now. We can also be recording now. At the same time, we can also webcast live. So I just do a refresh. The annotation will show. See that?
So this webcast live is for who to benefit from? Like someone
maybe if you are presenting, you want the public to watch.
So someone that's not in the room.
Correct. Yeah, correct. It can be anywhere. They are just turn on the YouTube, they can watch it from the link that you share.
Of course, you can list it or unlist it. That depends on how you like to set up the YouTube channel. Yeah.
So, very high chance that you guys may have some symposium or some speech from a visitor or VIP. We can always do that with this unit itself. So it's a very powerful unit. All right. The second content, which is what we are showing you here, is shown live now. So as you can see from my YouTube channel, we are always showing the dual stream separately. This is the same as you do recording, right? You'll be recorded one file, two files. Okay. We can also set up such a way that if this room is very big, if the audience sitting behind cannot even see the screen here, we can set up such a way that I can turn on my streaming function, and they can watch it instead of the big screen. They can watch it from my own personal device, right at the back.
And that can support how many?
Depending on the network. Because everything just joined to the same network, they can just watch from there. And they can also annotate their own notes on the device. They can save their notes on their own device. This is very, very useful if it's like 100 packs, 200 packs, where instead of just watching from the screen, maybe too small, we can watch live from the device, and they can save their own note.
What does that mean actually? But you say save their own notes,
meaning that you just launch our app on the device. So whatever I've shown there, right, I will see exactly the same, right? And if I need to have my own note, right, I can just annotate over my own note and save it into my device without affecting the others.
So this is an example where I'm using that screen. So I'm actually looking at exactly what Gary is doing on that screen right now on my device. Right? Yeah. So
this is like the live stream of the session. Is that it?
Yeah, it's a live stream.
Live stream, yeah.
Of my main content into the device itself.
And so this device, the students, they will need to have the app.
Correct. If they want to write, if they just want to view, it doesn't have to have the app.
And they just go to the YouTube link and do it.
No, they just open up a browser page and they just join the network and they just view from their own device.
Oh.
Yeah.
slower.
If they want to write, then they have to use our app. If they don't need to write, they just want to view, they just open up a browser, they can just connect to the device, they view it.
So if they want to write and they have to download, they have to have the app, and which is licensed? Or
No, don't need a license. You can download free of charge from our website. It runs on your personal device. So that app can be run on iPhone base or iPad base, or they can run from Windows base or Android base.
Okay. That means just now when you said that there was a delay that was introduced, it's actually to the YouTube live stream.
Because actually it routes to the public internet.
Oh, okay, okay.
But as us, we don't even need to notice about the latency, because because you are not always comparing, you're not here to compare between the main screen and the, because these people that watch from here are away from our room, right? They will not see a comparison between the live.
All right, right, right. Okay.
And that will be saved in your YouTube account, is it? You
Yes.
can.
It's my own channel. So
Oh.
all this can be set up in the box itself. Good. All right. Next, we're going to cover a little bit more about conferencing, okay, which I'm sure you're going to be using quite a lot. So I have over here, I have set up a Teams account that runs from the box itself. And all I need to do is that I can just drag it down and let the team start off by putting up on the screen here. So as we present in this room, whoever is away out of this room, they can join us from a Teams call, or it can be a Zoom call. Right? It's up to you to call. Right? So once the Teams is established, I will show to you how we can share content that involves the students as well. Okay? So it's the same as how you do Teams or Zoom over your laptop. It's the same. So my Teams is up. All right. So I'm going to do a live call. Okay. And I'm going to call, let's say I call Desmond. Where are you, man? So now I'm going to simulate an actual call. Okay. So as you can see now, this is using my room camera here to call. Right. So this is our local area. And over here, I'm receiving a call. All right. So now I'm looking at you guys. I'm not with you. So I'm far away, but I'm looking at you guys to call. Right. So now, when we talk about content sharing, as you know, you can just do a share from here, right? Right? So whatever I'm sharing now is that whatever is shown on the second screen. Okay, so now I've shared. See, there's a green borderline, which just now won't see, which means now I'm looking at this content from over this room. So now if I were to write, you guys locally will see, and I can see the writing here. So this is an actual simulation of a live web conferencing call, which we are still able to engage the in-room audience as well as the far-end audience. So we are sharing whatever you shared here to the far-end. Anytime you want to change, you can always click here, save. I can always change my content like that. I can change my sequence. I can be a one-screen content. I can be a visualizer content. See, it gets changed over there. So here's the logic about web conferencing. It's just like how you use a laptop to call. It's the same. Nothing fanciful, but it's the same. Okay? But the difference here is that when you use your laptop to call, you're always tied to your own laptop content, right? Which means that the audience may not be looking at your content as well, unless you share it here. But the way we set up here is that we're using the device to call, which means that you guys don't even need to join the call or make the call. You can still be engaged together. Right? As far as the file as well. So this is about the moderator station. Any question? If not, we're going to talk more about expanding the system. Okay? So we've seen our webcasting, it works. We have seen recording, it works. We have seen the team conferencing, it works. Alright? So now we're going to expand a little bit more, and this is what we're going to do, go to a hybrid flipped classrooms. And we're talking about a much bigger scale, where now it's simulating the same setup as we have in this room now. We have two master screen, 1 and 2. And we have left screen, right screen, and the back end. So now, if you were curious about what is currently showing there, I can just touch the screen here. It's exactly the same content over there. Alright, I can do a preview. If I touch the screen here, it's at the back of you. See, it's playing back the video, there's back of you. You're going to touch the screen here, it's this content. Overall, you can just turn on the switch here, you can see all the content currently showing.
Why is it useful?
So it's meant to be for the presenters to do a preview of what the students are saying. Now, this is just a small room. You can see exactly directly. But if it's a big room, as a presenter, you don't need to walk all the way down the aisle to see to check on the screen. You can just touch on any station here. You can check what the content is doing, what the student is doing next. So it's a very useful tool for the presenter to use if they want to check what is the students are doing now.
Most of the time, only when you group up, those kind of group work sessions when you break out, then normally the faculties want to see how each individual groups are doing before they go to each group. Yeah, so normally that's how it's done. Useful.
Okay, so for those back-end support team or the IT team, it's very simple to set up. Okay, the way we set up this kind of a setup here is about each of the station. You just need to have a screen, preferably an interactive screen, and our box here. Between these two devices is just two short cables, HDMI and a USB. That's all. Likewise, the same there. When we set up individual stations up, we will just connect the LAN of each devices back to a back-end switch. That's all. So that's for the technical setup. Right? So every of these stations here will be connected back to a switch. That's all. Right? There's no AV equipment required, equipment rack required, or there's no additional control system required at all, because everything operates from the touch itself. Okay, so now I'm going to operate. Any questions? So once I'm ready, what I can do is that I can share whatever I've shown as content to the students. For example, I want to show our talking head to the students. I can just go here and just share screen to all. See that? Every student station will get my content. Which means in a given room like this, the students don't even need to join the call. You can share the call session with everyone in the same room. And whoever wants to speak, we have the sitting mic. Everyone is speak, the sitting mic will be able to pick up our vocal. So the file will be able to hear clearly. Okay, now if you want to share the content to the students, I just have to press this green button, share to all, and now the students are getting the content. So it's a matter of selecting which screen to share. Okay, so now if I'm sharing this content to the students, we need the students now to collaborate with us. So what we can do is that we flip back to the content page. Remember, my Teams call is still ongoing. So now I can just enable my annotation here. As you can see now, the bar starts to pop up here, which means every one of us now can just choose the color to write. So we can now collaborate with the students together over a shared content. Correct, correct. Because they are on their own, they can discuss over this topic and then they can just write. And whoever writes, we are able to see and we are able to comment, and that's how we learn collectively. Now, if I find any of the students is playing trick or playing punk, I can disable them to write. So if I disable this button here, they can no longer write because the whole bar drops. They cannot write anymore until I resume them back one by one. So if I resume them back, whichever he wrote previously will be recalled back as well. So now only this station is able to write, but the other stations are still not able to write until I enable them back. So now everyone can write. So this is also a very useful tool for the presenter to collaborate with the students. Any question about this? So it's also one of the teaching scenario, right? That we are able to, first of all, share my content to the students. The students will receive it. When the student receive it, they cannot do anything because it's locked. So they cannot do anything now, unless I stop the share. Okay? So the mode now is on where we are on the collaboration mode now. Again, they cannot do anything, but they can only write. So the moment I stop my collaboration, okay, I stop or I exit, it will stop, I save it. So whatever we have written all over it will be saved as a file. And now you can see that it's still locked. I cannot do anything anymore as a student until I stop share. So the moment I stop share, everyone recalls back to their own original state. Now they can do whatever they want. So now they're on their own. They can discuss on their own as a group. They can write on their own as a group. Likewise, over there, they can discuss on their own as a group. So remember, the moderator has to be taking full control of the class, about the flow, about the content share, how you're going to be collaborating, what time they're going to be allowing the students to discuss on their own. That's the flow.
So for this function, it's only the
master.
The highest tier.
Correct.
Can
Can activate it. And this tier, it means for the moderator to activate. The students itself, they cannot activate that. Right. So back to here now. Okay. Just now we have shown you to share one way from the master to the students, correct? I can also do from students to master like that. See that? So whatever I showed as a student, I can push them to me, which is this. And now I can choose to share to all the rest of the students if I want to have. So likewise, I can just press here, share to the rest of the students. Everybody gets the same exact content as me. That's what you see. So this will be the source of the sharing. They are not locked, means they can still operate on their own. Okay. Now I change to 3 window. This will also change to 3 windows. So only from here onwards, they are not able to do anything. So as I can show you, we can share bi-directionally. Not just one way, but dual way. So again, this is about flexibility. I can also choose to share, not this way. So now you have 3 windows, they have 1 window there. I can just share student to student this way. See that? My content is not shared to this students group without going through me as well. But logically is that whoever students request to share, it will always come back to you first. Then you will decide who to share. Because as a lecturer, we believe that he has to take the full control of the class situation. Right? So we can show you that we can share bi-directionally or student to students at every time. And remember, we have said earlier, you can support one master station up to 40 slave stations. 40. So it can be a very, very big room with multiple stations. Okay? Now, so another scenario we can talk about is that just now we'll be sharing the open window content, correct? But instead, I can also share my document itself without opening from SANAP. If I have a document from my USB thumb drive, for example, I have a picture file. I just press these two windows. See, this is my PDF, my picture file from my USB. I can just push out to the student like that, without even opening up as a content here. So I have two choices. Either I share my SANAP content or I share my document.
So all the recording and all this will be in the cloud or server. You don't need a server to. Do you need a
For recording,
Yeah.
every time you record and it stops, right? As I said, you go to the internal folder of the box itself. So from the internal folder of the box, you can then choose to share to whatever you want, copy to somewhere else. So I can choose to copy to my USB thumb drive, or I can choose to copy to my network drive. So if I have a network drive configured, I can choose to copy to those network drive after the recording stops. Or I can push to share to the cloud drive we want to have. So over here, let me do a very quick example. So let's say I start record. Okay, whatever I operate here is the same as here. I stop recording. Where do I find a file? I find a file from a file explorer. You will always go to the internal file first. This is my recorded file. Right? So from here, I can choose to press the three-dot button, copy to. I can copy to USB because I have sensed the USB is connected. Now, if I have my cloud drives signed in before, I can choose to copy to my cloud drives or FTP servers. In the school environment, generally you set up using a network drive or FTP server. So it goes to a public location that everybody can save to.
Can this be a default setting that you are recording directly into the network storage?
For now, you have to copy to somewhere.
Oh, it always has to go into the box first.
You go to the box first for now, but we are looking into developing such that you can choose the destination.
Oh, I see.
So in future version, you're going to be choose to copy to your network drive or FTP servers. But for now, you have to do it manually.
As you're using Pepnot 2, you're using Pepnot 2?
I mean, there is a Panopto, we don't always use it.
So we also can integrate with Panopto because it's already ready for us. We can integrate with full Panopto service such that you can use the recording, you can use the Panopto storage platform to start a scheduled recording. So we regard this box itself as a remote recorder. So from a Panopto, you sign in, you can set up a time where you want to start the lessons, you can do the full recording. After you finish, it will be posted up to your platform again for the students to watch. So yes, we can integrate with Panopto if they're using Panopto. Right. So whenever you have our unit here, you get a very powerful unit itself because from a single box itself, you can do multiple tasks and multiple functions.
My new question. It's not a touch screen. What is the lifespan?
Okay.
Before it starts to go kind of
Then we talk about products now. Generally, technically, a touch screen can have multiple types. Right? So like this touch screen here is what we call as the IR infrared technology, infrared type. So it depends on the light conditions such that it will affect your sensitivity. Right? So IR type is one of the type. Second type is called the resistive touch. And the third type is the capacitive touch. So the capacitive touch is so much accurate than the IR, than the resistive. Generally, depending on the brand of the panel itself, they have specified a certain number of touches or lifespan, right? How many years you can have a so-called
Just out of curiosity, is it a top-end touchscreen screen? How many years is that?
generally I would say 5 years is not a problem.
5 years
Yeah.
max. Yeah.
Some of the screens allow you to change the overlay. Touch is just an overlay.
Oh.
So if you have a normal screen, you can add an overlay to add a touch itself. And that touch overlay can be a third-party overlay. Right, can be done. So whenever your touch no longer is sensitive enough, you can change the overlay.
Change mode machine now.
Yes.
Then the other naive question, the wireless network, is there an assumption about how stable it is? And
Okay.
I don't know.
So right now, whatever we set up here is through a wired network.
Wired lah.
Wired network. So whatever I shared content station to station just now, it requires you to run from a wired network. Because whatever we are sharing, we are doing streaming. Technically, we're doing streaming. So we're streaming content from one station to the other. And it's always more reliable to use a wired network. Alright. Obviously, wireless can be used, but we discourage that because it adds a lot of latency and reliability is an issue. Right. Just like you connecting your laptop content to the screen, I would assume 99% you use a wire, correct? HDMI. Right. Of course, wired is always the most preferred method. It's the most reliable and stable. Right? But nowadays, because our wireless technology is improving a lot, right? So we are able to proudly say that we can support wirelessly up to 4 devices, and that's depending on your wireless environment. So whatever we are sharing just now through our iPhone, iPad, is through the wireless network. Right. No matter it's a wired or wireless, whenever you stream or whenever you share content, they're always bound to have latency. It's just a matter of how much latency that's visible to your eye. Over here, the wireless we are sharing here, we're talking about milliseconds. Let me ask you, can your eyes determine how much is milliseconds? So my point here is that as long as your eyes doesn't notice, it's good enough. But if you ask me, technically, behind there will always be latency. Right? So how good the latency is depending on, again, the performance of the device. Different brands, they have different performance. Right? So we can proudly say that we can do 4 devices at the same time, which means that we have tested against all our competition, and we are proudly say that we are able to be supporting 4, where some of our competitors is only supporting 1 at a time. So all these teeny-weeny things plays a part. But you have a question, at least you ask the rightful questions about wireless network or wired network.
So let's say for whatever reason the wireless down, then we can still cable it.
Right now, our boxes here can support up to 3 networks at the same time. So over here, if you look at behind here, we have 2 wired port and 1 wireless port. So we can configure 3 networks. If you don't believe me, this is our internal settings under the network side. You have LAN 1, LAN 2. This is our wired network. You go back to your infrastructure. Currently, I'm only using LAN 1. If I want to use LAN 2, it's also possible. And then I have a wireless LAN. Wireless LAN means that I can connect to your gas Wi-Fi, to support AirPlay. Why we have 2 wired networks is because in some corporations, they want to separate corporate LAN as one network, and maybe an AV LAN as another network.
Then these screens can connect to the classroom, to the clinic.
Very complicated.
What they mentioned, they indicated that an external visualizer, for example, the external camera outside, they can still see the.
Yes.
So the clinic side will have to change the camera, right?
I think not really. I think
If it's an IP-based camera already, then it can already work.
yeah, that can be done.
That can be a deal breaker, right? It cannot connect clinic, cannot, right?
But can
You saw our
From my understanding with Curve itself, your current system is using a single projection, correct?
I'll just get, I'll go to one other point first.
Okay.
Before I
Okay.
get there.
Sure.
I have an application running on a laptop.
Okay.
A laptop. Can the screen operate the laptop?
Okay. So what we can do here is that applicable to only Windows laptop. Okay. We have this touchpad function. So whenever you press the Windows key, you already joined to my Synapse already. You see this checkbox here?
Okay.
So it means that it's a touchpad control that you
Okay.
activated here.
Okay.
It's actually nothing fanciful, it's just a Windows function.
Okay.
So whenever you use the touch screen, okay, like this is my laptop here, I can use my touch screen to control my laptop.
Okay. That's,
So this is applicable to only Windows laptop. So if you open up applications like Adobe or whatever, you can just touch the screen to control
okay.
it.
Yeah, I'm asking that because it's important for us.
Yes.
We have hearing equipment, medical equipment that's connected to a laptop to run
As an app, lah.
as an
Okay.
app. And the screen is used to display what's going on the laptop. Students will gather around, talk about it,
Yes.
press the button, and actually every press on the screen is
Yes.
activating a function on the medical
possible.
equipment. Possible, right?
Yes.
That's one.
So this is the same as, let's say you're presenting, you're running a PowerPoint here. So instead of having to go back to your laptop to change the slides, I can just touch the screen to change the slides. Okay, so this is applicable if you're using a Windows laptop, it's built in already. Now, whatever if you're using a Mac.
That's okay. Then,
A Mac cannot support natively, but if you want to have the same function on the MacBook itself, just use our app. Our app is able to add on these functions to the MacBook. I'm just letting you know.
okay. And the function that you mentioned just now, the pad, it's a Windows function, and this is operating wirelessly.
Only from wireless.
Okay. So if my Wi-Fi is compromised, that means that that function is not available, right?
If you're using a wired, it will not function.
Okay. That's important to us.
This is called a touch. It's a touchback function.
Currently it's wireless.
Touchback function.
Yeah. We're using, our current system is a smart board. It's long time, 10 years already. So it's all wired.
I see.
So that's where we're coming from. And then the second,
Our audiovisual laptop, is it HDMI?
yes, the new ones are all HDMI.
So can,
These are using
can
audio.
support HDMI?
Yeah. Okay, so
Sorry.
It can support, the box can also support
this
HDMI.
box, actually,
Okay, as I mentioned just now, to set up this station, you just need two short cables. HDMI output to the display and USB to the display, that's all.
So we cannot have another
yeah,
HDMI?
like the laptop,
Yeah.
which one we use right now, is running wireless.
Everything is wireless now.
So when we operate the odometer, right, it's no wireless. It's
Yeah.
using wireless. So that is a challenge.
So that is using what?
That's using Wi-Fi.
Wi-Fi.
Yeah, that's a challenge. And that's a very crucial factor. Because if the Wi-Fi goes down, it means we can't run the
5,
app.
6 stations.
Network is very important.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think that's why.
Actually, not. You don't say that if the wireless network is down, you cannot use. Because for Windows, all right, it behaves differently.
Okay.
So for Windows to join to Synapse, you don't need to be on the same network. You can cast.
But to operate, say the operator, right? Say I got no Wi-Fi now, nothing now.
Yeah.
I got one laptop,
Yeah.
there's an application running,
Yes.
operator is clicking on the screen
Yes.
to activate the software that's on the laptop. Is that possible?
Does the software requires network?
The software doesn't require. It's a
I can-
standalone application
Yeah,
that's
just
running.
standalone.
Can work. Can work.
So it's a direct connection between the laptop.
Direct.
Right.
Yes.
Wirelessly, yes.
Nothing else involved.
Virtual, yeah. It's all using virtual adapters.
Oh, so that one is possible.
You say your HDMI in there.
Alright?
Your HDMI in.
Possible.
Yeah. So on this model, we have HDMI in. That's his question.
Yeah.
So meaning that if, let's say, somehow or other, your wireless network is not stable, you just want to play safe, you can always stand by a HDMI cable.
But the HDMI does HDMI cover?
Touchback.
No, right? Yeah, that's right.
No, actually for you to touchback, right? Because let's say you get interactive screen.
Yes.
Interactive screen you can connect directly HDMI and USB to your laptop. and touchback.
Okay. So that's
This is a backup you can have. This is our backup.
You need two cables, huh?
So now we are running. So what you're suggesting is two systems. One system like his, and then another system for us to run the application safe. I mean, safe.
That one is like when you want to
Backup.
system down, you still can have this.
Okay.
So generally, we have HDMI in here, such that you,
Display,
in case your wireless doesn't work, you use the backup cable to connect.
That's for display.
You know, some of the touch screen they have a USB Type-C, so you just get one USB Type-C connect to the laptop. You also can have a video and a touch together.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
This
that's
is breakup.
Let's buy two cables off the
what we're doing now. Our current setup has a laptop that's running USB to a touch screen. So that's stable. I mean, that's what we're doing. So it can replicate the same from what I hear without the cable, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Our station currently, every station has the LAN point or not? No, right?
Every station got LAN port.
It's individual.
We use either LAN or we use Wi-Fi, one or the other. But every station has a LAN port.
So I assume that the way your room is being set up is that individual station is on their own itself. So they cannot do anything just to connect it.
Oh no, we can do the same thing. We can
Yeah.
switch, we can share screens, we can do everything like that. But not as fanciful as yours. Yours is really fanciful. But the ability to send from each station to another screen, all that is possible.
Possible.
Possible
Okay.
through a controller.
Yeah. Your control system.
Simple
Yeah.
controller. Yeah.
Yeah, so the back end, I understand from Kurt, is that you're using a switcher, right?
There's a switcher.
HDMI switcher.
One
Yeah.
switches.
So the other thing that our classrooms boards can also cast the live view of the camera in the clinic.
Yeah.
So that is where somewhat like a dual screen. I can one screen see the view of the clinicians doing, the other screen is displaying the clinician's computer, what they are actually.
Possible. If you have a camera from a clinician, you can always stream down to the system here.
Cameras in the clinics mounted through the fiber optics, right? I mean, it's
Fiber.
yeah.
Okay.
From one building to another, it's
Okay.
quite far
Yeah.
away.
But is it on the network?
It's not network.
It's not on the network. It's a hardwire.
Fiber to the SWAN switches.
So how is that? I think that is the main thing that we want to consider to make sure.
That I think the proposals that have been tabled for us is either IP wireless using your IP address, or if we want to be able to still utilize the fiber cables. Then Mr. Kerr was suggesting endpoint using RJ or something like that.
Yeah. Just a pair.
Yeah.
The short
But the
distance.
important thing is that we must be able to see the clinics
Of course.
in our
Yeah.
classroom.
How many signals are there? Only one, right? 5.
Yeah. So I think the same screen can also cast 4, right? If you want to, or you choose 2 or 4 concurrent different clinics. But in a hospital side, once we touch a hospital premise, any network is not possible. So that is our challenge. We cannot penetrate the network part. The academic side, the NUS side is fine. I'm talking about
Yeah.
New Age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that is the biggest challenge that we still have to use the fiber.
It's technically possible. It's just how we can integrate and connect them to us. It's about connecting to us.
I think that's not an issue because if we continue using the fiber cables, right? Then that's not.
So the other thing is also our smart classroom is all soundproof. So cabling, anything that have to change, we have to minimize as much as possible and not changing. So that is that we can't break the, we can't even lift the carpets up or behind the wall and So that is a
I think
challenge.
as long as your room is network ready with all the network points, it's easier for us. As I said earlier, within one station itself, it's just 2 short cables. That's all.
And
Likewise, in that station, it's the same short cables.
so does it come? The system comes with the microphones or not?
No, it has to be integrated through them as a system. So the microphones and accessories all add on to the system.
Yeah, the cameras and such. Yeah.
I see. Okay.
For us, to us, microphone and cameras are third party. It can be any brand as long as we can integrate them together.
And the monitors are also third party, or
Yes.
so you're primarily meant just for the system, right? The CNET system.
Just
only.
connect all the
Yeah,
cables.
correct. Yes.
So based on your experience, like which smart, not smart, the TV or the screen that is actually recommended? They are all your LG.
You mean the brand?
Yeah.
To us, it can be any brand. But again, looking at the specific, of the LG or the Samsung, it can be, these are more commonly used now. All right, and there are some that is like China made, all these are not highly recommended, but those Korean brands are,
That also can.
sorry?
Prism.
Yeah.
I thought it's the consumer TV, right?
Yeah, Prism is only consumer.
So it can only work with this interactive.
Prism is not recommended because it's consumer TV. And the specs wise, what we're using here is a commercial grade. So the lamp hour, the lifespan should be better than those consumer grade. Consumer grade are those that you use at home. So in terms of the performance and adjustment wise, compensation wise, commercial grade will have more. Right? So if you ask me, there's no preference, but I would say LG, Samsung, they are all safe brand. Because most of the in-store they use these two brands.
So that we have to source it ourselves.
No, Mr. Cut is the A.
Oh, I see.
So we go, everything will be done.
Kirk is our partner, so-called, that he will be able to help to design a system where they integrate all the brands together to form one system. Right? And we are just part of it.
Most important component.
Correct. Yeah, because whatever you see just now through our demo, the intelligence comes from our box. The screen is just a screen to us, but the screen feature-wise, we're not using that at all. But the intelligence comes from our box itself, where we develop software.
And so the same means this is the box. So we do away with the back of the classroom, the whole tower.
Right? Will minimize. Will still require a small rack, but can throw away the whole. One small rack will still be required.
That is for what purpose?
The fiber optics are still coming in.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And then
Yeah.
at the end you still need a switch, right? Yeah. Still, like you said, all this will go back to a switch.
Network switch,
Yeah,
yes.
network switch.
Yeah.
So at the minimum is still a small rack. Now we've got like big racks. Yeah.
Okay.
But it's small. I think it's going to be very small.
The noise level.
Just put the sound isolator, right? Yeah, because racks got a fan.
Yeah, the fan will generate.
Yeah, so we want to make it something. We want to have something quiet.
See, whatever you have as a system there in your premises now are those systems that I came from.
Oh yeah.
So those are those conventional systems, right? We have a lot of switches and cablings that are add on as one system. But if you look at ours here, we don't even have a rack of equipments where the hardware becomes more simplified and the cabling is so much lesser. So if you look at the image here, we talk about future expansion as well, right? So currently I have 4 stations here, all right? If anytime you want to expand to more stations, you can just add on with just a network point available for us without disrupting the whole system here. So expandability for future expansion is so much easier and quicker because I can just duplicate the same stations to add more boxes. And I just need to copy my settings from one box and then clone it to the rest. So it will help those administrators, support guys to expand the systems easier rather than you have to reconfigure your hard wiring for the current system that you have. I'm sure because I came from that kind of setup. Clear? Just a little bit of information. Our unit here are warranted for 3 years.
Okay.
All right, but if you want to have extended warranty, we can allow you to purchase for 5 years extended warranty. So as you can see, every quarter we will release firmware to basically add on more functions. Whatever you see now may not be the end because we are always constantly adding functions to it. As long as your hardware is alive, you will get to enjoy all these free upgrade, of feature set that we can provide. as a firmware upgrade. Yes.
Which other institutions are using it?
Oh, okay, good question. We have done a few in different polytechnics. One of our key project here is about Ngee Ann Polytechnic, has got similar setup. One master with 5 student group station, up to 64 classrooms. We've done it in Singapore Poly, Nanyang Poly with such a system here. We have done it in NUS, NTU with just not a matrix, but a single station system as well. So NTU, NUS, ITE, all these have our Synapse solution. We've done Certis Cisco. Certis Cisco, they have a training facilities. They have also used such. Business. NTU also quite use of it for recording. So NTU, we also have in School of Administration or Business. We also have a few of this unit itself, but just for recording purposes.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
That's a very clear presentation.
Yep. Hope that we can meet your requirement. You know, feel free to discuss with us or with Kurt about how we can integrate your current system into it.
We work through Mr. Kurt, because he's the supplier, right? Yeah. Anything that we need directly from
Right.
you, we'll contact you directly.
Yeah, yeah. If you need any contact with other schools in terms of like understanding, I can definitely link you up.
Okay.
Yeah, just so that you can also hear from the people who are
You're
using
using
it.
it, yeah. And users.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Questions? Oh, okay.
How do you think about system that you see?
Actually, I got one.
Any comments?
One
Sorry,
question.
sorry.
Just now, when you all use the whiteboard function, right? I just want to know how come this panel, the input responsiveness is so much better compared to the big
Oh,
one?
you saw observer.
Oh.
Different type of screen.
Sorry?
It's a different type of screen. This is
Oh, yeah.
ScanF, Steve.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
is R.
Oh,
Mm.
so it's an inherent limitation for that technology, is it?
The type of screen plays a part. Plus, whatever we connect here is some apps that we develop into the screen itself. It's not an inbuilt app of the screen. So it's an additional layer that also plays a part. But if you compare against just the screen itself, you can see a difference, right? This will be better because this is a capacitive touch. This is RR touch, so you'll see some latency also. So I would always recommend, if cost factor is not a big deal, get a capacitive touch.
I mean, I think it.
It shows that very flexible it is.
I mean, I
How
would
about
want to write on it.
Yeah.
I probably will be a bit frustrated with the amount of input lag.
Yeah,
right?
correct, understand. But yeah, now you have a choice to get a capacitive touch is always the best, but it's more costly.
Of course, if you are using a Synapse Pro with a third monitor, I mean the screen is much smaller. The investment will be much smaller than the bigger size.
I bought this just for $800. It's an ELO. ELO is quite a good brand. $800.
I mean, if you're talking about like maybe 50, 60 inch,
Yeah, then of course.
and then if it's capacitive, it's probably going to be quite expensive.
Is that a lot expensive? No.
What size?
I don't know. Like,
Let's say this is 55.
oh, this is 55.
55. This is 65.
Big, right?
Ours is 70.
70.
This is 65.
So you need to get the 6-inch
86
screen.
ours, right?
We have a 75 next door.
This is how?
65.
65.
Ours is 86.
Yeah, I know.
But your current, your smart board is infrared. Current is the
I think so.
infrared.
Yeah.
Most of the current models now is mostly infrared because it's cost effective.
Right, I think. Okay.
But yes, I agree. It's latency is there. How you can test on? I'm happy to share. See when I touch, right? You see there's a gap here. Yeah, this is the latency. Right? Probably a better one. See? There's not much of a gap here. That's the screen difference.
Actually, for this touch screen, you can try a few brands. Some of the brand already input. You can't find whether it's a capacitive touch or infrared. Some input any of the processor or the TV touch screen.
How do you find our solution here?
Does it fit your needs? I'm curious.
Yes, I think it gives us a lot of flexibility, but of course we are also limited by whatever is cabled with the helix and
Yeah.
and the classroom itself.
Yes.
Yeah, it depends on whether the system we like it, whether it can fit into what we are currently
Okay.
have. We cannot do this, we cannot do that. So I think that is the main challenge.
Okay. Okay.
If someone says, "Oh, I like your system, but I have to tear down something, then fit it," wow, that is that is not possible.
Yeah, the good thing is I think you probably don't have to tear down. I think it's just identifying how it will work together with your existing the fiber optics in your clinical room. Yeah. Probably I think Kurt will be able to help you best to identify.
Design the system.
It can be done technically, it can be done. It's just how we can compromise it.
Yeah. Because you already have your network points in each station. I think it's quite. I think that's the biggest hurdle. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. Thanks for coming.
Thanks.